Okay. Good morning, Matt. This is where you can start hearing our chat. Matt is Theagenes is not here with us today. He is doing some life stuff, and so it is. He's not dead. He is fully alive. Although, no, we should not joke about the death of a anyway, so good morning. It's Saturday morning again. For one of us, it's Saturday afternoon. Shout out to Europe. And it's good to be here. We're going to have a couple weeks off after today. I'm going to a Comic-Con next weekend. And then one of my family is getting married the week after that, so some travel for me, but I look forward to getting back. This will also be sort of a shorter one. We're sort of just wrapping up this knockdown drag out Caldera fight that has been for me a lot of fun, I think. And anyway, but so to start, as we always do, let's do our warm-up question. Somebody hit me with that D100. $92 from Falvin. Oh boy, this is this is a juicy one. What does your character hope for the afterlife? That's okay. That's fair. That's a good answer. He gives you just like a weird Christian side hug.
Hey, bud. We got Coke Zero over there. Good job.
That's not morbid at all. I think that's very genuine. So don't die now because you're not going to get that. What about Shade? Aw, yeah, she was cool. Ugh. That's sad. Oh, there was good. There was good. They had a life together. They fell in love. It was so sweet. Oh, anyway. And we're having a tickle fight. It's great. I feel like Theagenes would have some boring answer to this. We'll have to have him chime in next time. We'll have to try to remember what is Theagenes' hope for the afterlife. He just plops down a tool bag and he's like, all right, let's get to work fixing this shit. Oh man. Cool. And which NPC would you like to hear from for this question? Oh god. I'm going to give you this one in a bit of a different format than I might normally. I think she tends to be very spreading positivity and maintaining a cheery, chipper exterior. And so she wouldn't probably say something like this out loud, but she might say it to herself or write it to herself. Something like, after all this, I hope I get one. Yeah, I think that's what she'd say. Yeah. The other thing I'm going to try to do is listening back. I say a lot. So part of that is because I'm making up stuff constantly. But I'm going to try to be more focused. I just did it again on saying and less, which is hard. I can feel myself burning calories every time I go to say or and then don't. God. There we go. He's dead. Yeah. I like that. Because I tend to do that. I tend to try to fill space. So, all right. Well, cool. So let me switch over to our intro music, and somebody kick us off with a little bit of a recap, please. It was sick. Yeah, perfect. That's really good. Take an inspiration, and we'll get started. Let me did we even finish the title track? I think we might have, but Zoom! Fastest recap in the West. I said again. Here we go. You are in the Forge of Steros, the Cyclops, and you are discussing amongst yourselves psychically whether or not to help him with his plight. He thinks to himself and says, "So if I tell you, you will agree to help me?" Okay. You're saying all this to him, and as you start speaking, he looks over at his desk and flips a little switch on a bronze apparatus that starts like making these little mechanical sounds. And as you're speaking, it is actually typing out what you're saying onto a parchment. And you finish, and he like rips the parchment out and looks at it with his monocle. And he turns back to you and he says, "I can agree to these terms, but you must be cautious. You are beginning to become well known, not just throughout the mainland, but the seas are beginning to speak of you. The more you help, the more you get involved, the more the eyes of the Titans will be drawn to you. This I cannot promise to assuage." I'm a key player, at least in one very small portion of Sidon's realm. and my movements will be watched. So, from my own impulse, you need not worry, but having me along may bring you trouble. Perhaps. There is great rage that sleeps under the magma. But there is also great pain, and I would not assume her to be willing and ready to fight on your behalf after such a long imprisonment. I would say that is the best request you could make of such a person. So, I wish the peoples of this island no ill will. They in the scope of time and civilization, they are young. They have much to learn, and they are easily impressioned. The king himself is easily impressioned, and through his position has been able to lead an army of corruption. I feel remorse for those who have fallen in with this plot, but they should be left alone. I will warn you, though, freedom for the Titan is a noble goal, but she harbors much rage, and I worry for this island. You speak in lofty terms, young one, but I can see experience behind your eyes. I would advise one other thing. The Titan, she has not partaken in the atrocities that her siblings have, but she is a Titan nonetheless, and as such, she desires and encourages worship. If you can tap into that, if you can harness what worship there is to be had, you may assuage some of her anger. But give her something. She desires some sort of blood and punishment. You must feed that in some way. Here's what I'll give you in sort of a meta commentary. The king would be the most good ending, I guess, outcome, is if you can get her to be satisfied with, the life of one person who has greatly, harmed her, then you might avoid the bloodshed. If you don't do as well, you might be more steering her in the direction of one tribe. And if you do super poorly, if you roll awful, you make horrible arguments, this island is probably boned. So so those are some of the stakes. Yeah. I love it. Indeed. He repeats the portion that he is... what is his aid going to consist of? I guess you haven't agreed on that. He has given you information on how to entreat with the Titan, so that seems like it would probably cover it. Sure. Right. Right. He says the key to freeing the Titan lies with the king. His staff is a gift from the Lord of Storms, and the staff grants the power to maintain the ritual seal. It would need to be used. But I would destroy it after you are done. Right. So he will tell you that obviously the king is alive. The king has a very skilled assassin you've probably run into. The king may have fled to his chambers, which are further to the east, like in the direction he was running. He says that technically the back of the forge, like over here, is pretty close to the innermost part of the king's chamber, but in order to get there you have to go all the way around. Let's see. The chambers of the king also is the home of the king's chief advisor, whose name is Polyphorus, a cyclops like Steros. He's very, very old and blind, but he has keen alternate senses. The king also would have more mystics with him, so be careful there. He also might have prisoners from other tribes. He also says, very last thing, the king perhaps has access to an escape route. There are lava tubes throughout this caldera, and the king likely would not have set himself up in a position with no escape whatsoever. So the king probably will be open to dealing for his life if cornered, but you know, is going to run if his life depends on it. So yeah, so Steros, he says that is all the information I have to offer, but I hope it is helpful enough for you to do what you need to do. And he takes the copy of the oath that you spoke earlier, and he signs his name at the bottom and slides it across the table to whoever will be your representative. So do I. Unfortunately. Love it. Okay, so he says he will wait here until needed, and wishes you luck. Cool. So what's the move? Sure. And Kyra. He nods and he says, "It is welcome in a time of darkness and uncertainty." Okay, so you move out into the open space of the caldera again. The dragons, you guys can move their tokens whenever you want. The dragons fly over. We'll say that Nameless is in ethereal form. And who's controlling Theagenes today, by the way? I am happy to do it if, or Shade, yeah, go for it. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So I don't think he did the short rest. So let's do that. How many hit die does he have? He has 4? Maybe he already did it. Oh, 6. Yes. Yeah. So go ahead and roll up his hit die. And you know what? Since he's not rolling, let's just give him all 8s. So just apply as many 8s as needed to get him to full health. And is it 48? No, he's at 32 hit points. So 40, 48, 54. Cool. Yeah, so he has one remaining after that. You're welcome, Matt. Sweet. So so Kyra drops off and runs up and says, "Oh boy, I certainly do not like being so apart from all of you. It's very hard to write down what's happening when you're so far away. I have to squint like nobody's business." Now, hold on one more. Theo. You know this quill has an eraser, Theo. Who's going to buy a story? She says, "No, I'm glad you're all safe. You've been mopping up very well." Corinna says, "Yeah." Oh, okay. You got it. You got it. There we go. Cool. So everybody's here, and the goal now is to see what the reaction of the lizard folk mystics is to the dragons that fly in. Right. So this is a pretty imposing scene where the party who has been just demolishing this lizard folk camp is now joined by their wormling dragon companions. Still quite an imposing sight. The lizard folk mystics, I mean, they watched the dragons fly over, and so you could see they were, discussing between themselves, and one of them pulls out what looks like a sending stone and is speaking into it. And then they just resume their readied pose. Although they look notably shooken, I guess. Oh, they should be 120 feet right away. Yeah. Right. Exactly, yeah. Oh, sure. Wait, where is he? Oh, that's... Where is he? Where? Oops. Oh, no. Oops. Oopsie. There he is. Okay, so you have all your dragons there, and the mystics have spoken with each other and seemingly sent in a report over a sending stone, but are not changing their guard. Uh-huh, okay. Okay, so you want to create a major image of an adult red dragon with the hopes that the combatants will, like, bow down and be open to initial diplomacy? Okay, where do you want this adult red dragon to be? The lip of it, like up above you. I think sure. Yeah, because this doesn't. Yeah, I think this is otherwise mechanically insignificant. So why not? Okay, so we're gonna have these guys roll wisdom saves. I'm gonna give them disadvantage. Okay, they rolled bad, so they're gonna run. They're just gonna run. So they start to flee, and unless stopped, they're going to start to run out the upper northeast part of the caldera. As the dragon snaps its jaws shut. I will say one of them. One of them trips. One of the shamans trips and rolls and turns and hears the dragon say this, and does not acquiesce to your request, but shakily pulls the sending stone from its robe and drops it on the ground before getting back up, scrambling up and running away. Basically. Like, nope, I'm out of here, but here you go. That is pretty good. Yeah. Do you in maintaining the illusion, can it move? What goes on? Okay, sweet. So this is still difficult terrain, but you're not going to take damage going through it. And yeah, so the intact bridge that leads to one of these other turtle shell rooms is where the sending stone was dropped. Oh, I mean, he's ethereal. We can just leave him alone. He's just chilling. We'll just assume. Right. If it's simpler for you to just leave them in place until they're needed, that's fine. We'll just assume that they're with you. So, Shade, your echo moves up and across the bridge and into this, what looks like a worship chamber. And it's very similar to the throne room that you went through before, but it is more geared for worship. Inside this enormous turtle shell, there is actually a large stone statue of an imposing six-armed figure wielding a black glaive, which you recognize to be Sidon. And there are green gems glittering from the 3 eye sockets, the 2 main ones, and then the 1 center forehead. And there is a altar table that is coated with blood and this sending stone on the ground. It's like right here. Yeah. Cool. You pick up the sending stone. He's like, wow. Wow, that's crazy. We get that big? Nameless says, Mama? No. Are you my mommy? I mean, I think see and affected by are probably different. So I think he could see it. Yeah. Let's see. So Falbin... Diogenes would notice this as well. Falbin, you start to hear a slow rumble of thunder above the low roar of the caldera and magma below you, and you look up and it is starting to get cloudy and potentially stormy. Oh, I was just describing the weather. What are y'all freaking out about? Cool. It's for you. Okay, what do you say? The response in Draconic is...
One does not become a king without experiencing the wrath of dragons. And in my case, that dragon experiencing the wrath of a king.
You threatened him. But you also learned a bit about his sensibilities towards dragons. Okay, you enter this room that I previously described. All of you can hear this thunder beginning to roll now, and you pass this statue of Sidon. You haven't seen a statue of Sidon probably since the temple in the Old Woods, probably. Besides seeing Sidon himself, so. Right. There. Coping. It's exactly accurate. So. Ooh, yeah, sure. Yeah, they flop to the ground and cover their head. Not worshiping, just in a I'm about to die. Cowering. Thank you for that, dictionary tiger. And there are about a dozen cages on this stone platform, and 3 of them contain sullen lizard folk prisoners, and they seem to be of the 3 other tribes. There's a blue, a yellow, and a green. Yes. They are, well... whatever is secure but not bank secure, like that, you know, it's pretty primitive, but you can't open it from the inside unless you're very skilled. I mean, locked in such a way so that you, yeah, I whenever I think of Bard, if I think of a cage, you could sort of stick your arm through and lift it up. It's just whatever you can't open from the inside. But yeah, I don't think it would require a key. It's just secured. Oh, okay, cool. You do that, and they sort of look at each other a little hesitantly and realize that their survival is more important than any petty squabbles right now, so they are going to RUNOFT. And yep. Yep. So by this point, yeah, they are. They just throw them to the side. Cool. Yeah, so the mystics and the lizard folk that was with them continue to to run, and if not stop, they will eventually reach that back entrance that you guys came in. You can see coming up here that the path leads to what you're assuming is the king's chamber. There are 2 lizard folk guards at the entrance. You can see a sort of heated, steaming pool inside. I don't think you can see anything else from where you are. But you've positioned... Right. Yeah, the lizard folk guards at the entrance are quaking in their boots. And... yeah. But it is going to be too narrow for the dragon to enter. Sure. So he's kind of like hanging from the side of the caldera in full view and letting you guys pass underneath. Cool. So how are you approaching this? Yeah, so it leads up and around into this chamber. Sweet. Okay, so that's gonna be tough. Yeah, so okay, so we're starting with... Okay, sweet. All right, so once it's clear that this is an attack, let's go ahead and roll initiative. And then Tim, I think this is when you need to head out. Yeah, so what do we want to do? Do we want to like do a round and like Tim, like me or somebody else, like roll for you, or how do we want to do we want to just wrap super early? How do we do this? I know we sort of got a delayed start. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Yeah, we'll get everybody's initiative rolled. Cool. So awesome. Well, probably our shortest session ever. I had some tech difficulties to begin with, but we have a very clear direction for next time. And yeah, Tim, sorry you had to work. That sucks. Money, man. Anyway, well, I'll go ahead and cut the recording. We can hang out a little bit, but thank you for joining us once again.